Alright, so we're going to start by preparing our tile to be glazed. So as always in ceramics, you're going to want to wipe it down, get all the dust off before beginning your glazing process. Think carefully about the colors that you're going to use for this tile because you will be writing a little post-glazing review and explaining why you chose the colors that you did in relationship to the color wheel. So here it's been prepped, it's cleaned. Now I'm going to start with using this black wash. You will find this black wash in the back by the underglaze shelf. When you open this guy, give it a really good mix from the bottom because all of the underglaze settles at the bottom. Black wash is basically just watered down underglaze. And we water it down to make it easier to get into all of these little grooves that we've carved in the tile. You're just going to do one layer of the black wash, making sure that all your carved areas are well saturated, including your border. We'll let this dry for a minute. After I'm sure I've got every little corner filled, we'll let it dry. It dries pretty quickly. Always make sure you clean the rim of your glazes before you close them up. And once the underglaze is no longer shiny on your tile, it means that it's dry, so we can start. Still a little bit of shine to this, so it's not quite dry. So I'm just give it a minute. Going pretty quick there, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. Wiping back, you use one side, the other side, and then you have to rinse your sponge and make sure you squeeze all the water out of it. If you don't squeeze all the water out of it, then it will take too much of the black off. One side, the other side. You can use the edges of the sponge as well. Make sure you get into the grooves. We want the black to emphasize the texture and the lines, but we don't want it to clog those areas. So you really want to get in there and make sure that you have white showing through. And once you've done this process, you're ready to begin your glazing. You can follow your printout as far as glaze colors go. We're going to be using underglazes only. You can use glossy or non-glossy, up to you. You can use a combo of both of those glazes. You're going to definitely want to use very skinny brushes like these so that you can get into the detail. You can go over some of your black lines and then scrape them out later with a needle tool, but I try and avoid lines altogether so I don't have to do too much cleanup at the end. I'm going to go ahead now and with a very skinny brush I'm going to begin my glaze. That's all there is. We water these glazes down a little bit just so you can see the black line below. So I'm just dipping my brush and kind of moving the glaze around. We'll do 2 layers of these Amico Velvet glazes. If you're doing the glossy, also 2 layers. And that's all there is to it. Later on, if you wanted to get that black line back again, you could use a needle tool and scrape through to get your black lines back. And that's it. you are going to glaze the whole thing, and when you're done, flip your tile over and clean off the back. Always center to the outside. Center, out, center, out. If there's any underglazes that were non-glossy but you wanted them to be glossy, you can add a clear coat later. And that's it.